Dr. Yonekura Haruka, Session 1, Log 26. I'm not even sure where to begin with today's events. If nothing else, they certainly forced us to reconsider what we consider a murder when it comes to the game. Last night, while I was unfortunately asleep, the adrenaline gas caused Student 2's pet tiger to attack Student 3 in the ventilation system. Student 3 was bitten in the neck, but as she was carrying Student 9's pistol, she was able to fire off a shot in self-defense. Both Student 3 and the tiger were killed. I'm honestly not even sure what to say about this one. There was some internal debate amongst the team about whether or not this made Student 2 guilty of murder. Ultimately, it was decided that Student 2's pet tiger counted as an extension of Student 2, and that he would be pinned as the Blackened. There was a bit of confusion through the actual investigation process, but ultimately, the students correctly identified the killer and voted him guilty. As such, we went ahead with Student 2's execution. Once again, I find myself somewhat confused on why we can't just execute the students in a clean and simple way. But Dr. Khan continues to go behind my back and do things how he sees fit, in a way that is beyond unnecessary. Let me read you what he's written for today's events. Pray. Student 2 was brought into his execution chamber, blindfolded and disoriented. He was tasked with reaching the other side of the room and promised that if he did so correctly, he would be unharmed. This was an empty promise, but seemed to bring some semblance of hope to Student 2. Unfortunately for him, the chamber has been pre-rigged with a series of fairly common hunting traps. A nod as his nature as a zoologist, one would imagine. He began walking across the room, soon reaching his first obstacle when he mistakenly placed his left foot directly into a steel-jawed trap. This caused Student 2 to react in extreme distress, temporarily halting his progress. He was bleeding somewhat profusely at this point, but continued forward in hopes of escaping. Student 2 soon ran into a second obstacle in the form of a makeshift deadfall trap, which he mistakenly disturbed. This caused a large weight to strike him in the back of the head, further incapacitating Student 2 in his efforts to proceed forward. By this time, the students in observation were becoming extremely distressed. Student 13 insisted that the execution be halted, while Student 12 alternatively insisted that they simply not be made to watch. The execution continued as Student 2 resumed his attempts to cross the room. He proceeded forward with some difficulty, making it several more paces across the room before tripping over a thin wire that had been strung across the path. This caused Student 2 to fall forward, catching his neck in a rabbit snare. Student 2 was hanged instantly and died after several minutes. The remaining students were dismissed soon after. Somewhat ironic, if I do say so myself. The hanging, I mean. It's worth noting that Student 2 hung up Student 3's body in a very similar way. I have to say, though, I'm getting tired of these overly complicated executions. Hopefully, when the next murder occurs, we can simply inject the student with lethal chemicals or something else that's a little bit quicker. Dr. Khan is beginning to grate on me with his way of doing things. Perhaps I'll have to speak to him about that in the near future. For now, though, he's in conversation with the rabbit. I can't help but wonder what they might be talking about. I suppose I have nothing else to report for the time being. Hopefully the next killing will take place before we feel the need to implement a motive. Motives aren't particularly cheap, after all. I'd like if the next killing could occur a little more naturally. This seems like a good place to end my report for today. Dr. Yonekura Haruka, Session 1, Log 26, out.